Welcome to Discussing Dad Life, where we break down bullshit so you don't have to. I'm Void, this is No, and let's go.
We're on. Perfect. Welcome to Main Event Mondays, everybody. So, we decided to sponsor ourselves, basically. So, we've talked about it in the past. Moo, my daughter, has her own candle business. And it's something that I've been helping her with, and it's just been small. Something's really tiny. She doesn't do a whole lot with it, but we've decided to push forward and put some investment into it and get this thing moving. I have a friend of mine down in another city that is currently working on labels for us for our wonderful candles. They're going to be designing a simple label for us. And also social media pages. So as soon as as soon as she has all that stuff designed and everything, we'll get that up on the channel. If you guys do want candles, we have 4 wonderful scents right now. This one right here. Oh, this one is coconut. Comes with a wooden wick. Now her little business is called Candle Time. That's what she decided. This is coconut. It's absolutely amazing. This is one of my favorite scents. I love coconut. Don't know if I've ever said that before, but I love coconut. So great scent. Yeah, like I said, her business name is Candle Time. If you want to buy a candle, you can reach out to. Hold on, let me look it up real quick for you, so I don't tell you the wrong thing. Whoops, I'm opening the wrong email because I'm horrible. It's candletime2022@gmail.com. If you want to order a candle, you can reach out to me there. I handle it, and she does as well. But we do check it periodically. So you can email us, let us know you want to buy a candle. I can send you the Venmo link, and then you can send us your address, and we will ship it out to you. She has another flavor here, or another scent. It's not flavor. Sorry, it's not a taste. This is peach, Georgia peach, but we just call it peach. Again, it's got the wooden wick inside it. Peach is a really good smell. They come in these nice little mason jars. She wanted to kind of keep it country themed because she's into the animal life. This one is Sea Breeze. Smells like you're standing next to the sea. Yeah, it's beautiful. And then last but not least, we have Lakeshore. Kind of smells like a lake up in the Midwest. So this one right here, this is my son's out of his room. Now this one actually has a cotton wick in it. We've switched off the cotton wicks just due to the fact that the wooden wicks seem to do a lot better. With our design or our makes, but this one actually is a 4th of July candle that we made last year. It's fir, so it's going pretty good. Hold on one second, guys. I'm just checking one thing. Sorry, apologize about that. Yeah, so there you go. You can see it lit. Actually, I wish we didn't have so many on, but yeah, it's got a nice little flame on it. Smells delicious. So he wanted to burn it. Do you want that over by you, or you want me to leave it here? You want it by you? Come and grab it. So before we get into the topics of the day, we were down in Salt Lake yesterday, and we just got back not too long ago. Yeah, it was fun. He went and spent a lot of money doing some shopping, and none of the stuff are here. We stopped at my sister's house, and he took it all in and left it at her house. So whatever. So today, we're gonna hit 4 topics, and I'm gonna use the Daily Wire today, just due to the fact that I like the Daily Wire. They have some interesting takes. Go ahead and let's swap over and pull them up, dude. All right. Let's start off with the media attempts to interpret bloodbath comment by man in red hat. So this was huge last week, and well, I guess it was actually the last weekend. It actually really popped up at the, but last week they just kept doubling down on it, So go ahead, scroll down. All my life, I've been in the business of observing the world and writing or talking about what I see and experience. Now, this is written by Andrew Klavan. I do believe that's who wrote that. I'm going to scroll up real quick, dude. Yeah, Andrew Klavan. Excuse me. And one of the things I can tell you is that it isn't easy to communicate the truth with complete accuracy. There are always going to be small discrepancies between what you report and what actually happened. For instance, last week in a speech in Ohio, Donald Trump promised that if he was reelected and president, he would stop China from undermining our automobile industry. Then he added, if I get elected, that's if I get elected. If I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath. Now, that is a common phrase I've heard throughout my entire life, talking about a bloodbath. And in that context, it's quite simple what he's trying to explain. That is going to be a bloodbath in the automobile industry. It's pretty clear. You got to take the context from what he's talking about in that entire sentence. But the New York Times, a former newspaper, I love how he puts that little jab in there, reported on the speech in a story headline, Trump vows nationwide slaughter if not returned to power, in which Times reporter Prissy Credell wrote, pushing his campaign rhetoric to unprecedented levels of violence, former President Donald Trump swore he would unleash a bloodbath on America if he was not reinstalled in the White House this November. An obvious threat to reenact the January 6, 2021 insurrection at the Capitol, the worst constitutional crisis since the Civil War of the 1860s, when 700,000 Americans lost their lives and Trump bathed in their blood, an unthinkably horrific act made famous by the 16th century Hungarian Countess Elizabeth Bathory, who imitated Trump by torturing and murdering more than 600 virgins and bathing in their blood, an act that inspired Bram Stoker in the writing of Dracula. I'm going to stop there because you get the point, right? So our media is so divided. It's insane to try figuring out what is actually going on and what is the truth. And the unfortunate part is a lot of us don't have time to dive into a lot of these things. I'm fortunate because I watch a lot of I listen to a lot of podcasts while I'm driving. So I tend to be able to tune in to other people who have the time and who are making it their effort to actually dive into the truth. Now, you got to keep in mind that obviously their biases are going to come into play there as well. But from this article and from what Trump actually said in the speech, it's pretty clear to see that the context he was talking about was actually the automobile industry and not anything dealing with what New York Times and a lot of other outlets are actually trying to push. So we'll end that one. We'll go over to Biden's border policy. Biden's border policy is a political ad for President Trump. This is by Ben Shapiro. Scroll down. Every day under Joe Biden's administration is a political ad that's cut for Donald Trump. The latest example comes courtesy of America's southern border. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, guys. I should have. The border is basically wide open. There are no border patrol agents where there should be, and they're all too busy processing illegal immigrants and letting them in the country. So I'll stop here and I'll correct Ben Shapiro. That's interesting. I don't think I've ever figured I would have had to correct Ben Shapiro. They're not illegal immigrants. They're criminal aliens. Technically. So just throwing it out there. You guys can disagree with me or if you want. I'm getting really sick of trying to change the language to soften the language. They crossed the border illegally, which makes them illegal, and they're alien to the nation, so they're criminal aliens. I mean, plain and simple. That doesn't put any ill will towards them. That doesn't do anything other than the fact that we are a nation of laws, and our laws are not being followed. Tune in on Wednesday because I'm actually going to break down our. I'm not going to break down because I'm not an expert on our immigrants. I'm actually our immigration laws. I'm actually just going to talk about my thoughts on our immigration laws, because our immigration laws are kind of messed up. So there's definitely some things that are wrong. So on Thursday at the border, there was a major conflagration. When in Texas, about 300 illegal immigrants decided to storm one of the sections of this Texas State National Park. Now, if you guys were on X or anything like that and you follow any of these independent reporters, you would have been able to see that video, some of the videos that came out where there was one soldier that looked like he was in pretty perilous danger, and I got to hand it to the Texas National Guard for keeping their cool and not doing anything. Granted, they might just be too scared to do anything because the feds will come in and just be like, "Oh, you murdered people," even though they were defending themselves. I mean, that was a brutal attack that happened at the border. So yeah, the sections of the Texas State National Park where border wire had been put in place, they stormed across the border. Most of them were young males. They started assaulting the border patrol. This was insane. These illegal immigrants, again, criminal aliens, just for reference, pushed their way through the border, and then they started pushing their way past the border patrol, and they rushed up to the fence. The fence was still closed, so they rushed past the border wall. So the title of his article is accurate. What's going on the border for the people that are concerned with the amount of illegal people coming in, and not as I don't think it's the immigration that's the issue, or at least in my mind. So tune in on Wednesday. You're going to hear my thoughts on this, but just this little quick snippet preview on that is it's the fact that they don't assimilate anymore, right? Every American today, unless you're a Native American, are immigrants. The difference between those immigrants and the immigration that's happening unchecked on our southern border right now is the fact that we're bringing in these people are coming in and they're not assimilating to the American culture, right? And I'll get into more detail what I'm talking about on that on Wednesday's episode. So if you guys care about that, definitely tune in on that. So yeah. You should drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think about this Biden's border, and whether or not you actually agree that it's just a ad for Trump's campaign. I tend to actually agree with that. I think more people are going to be looking at Trump as a person that can end the illegal crossings, and also the sorry, that was Moo calling. I'm going to have to give her a call back after we're done recording this one. Do you have your phone on you, dude? Can you text her and let her know that I'm recording, and I'll call her back? Thank you. Yeah, so I don't disagree with Mr. Shapiro on this one, but I will disagree with him on his word usage of illegal immigrants. I think you should correct that. The next two articles are also written by Ben Shapiro. Do you need me to do it, or do you got it? You got it? Okay, sorry. I asked him to text his sister, so. Yeah, let's go. Okay, Mr. Ben Shapiro. Where are you going, man? You got to stop here. Mr. Ben Shapiro on March 21st. Here's how World War III could happen. I haven't read this yet, guys, so let's take a look at this together. I'm only going to read the top part, and if need be, we might log in and read the rest of it if it's actually doesn't clear it up. Excuse me. Here's how World War III could happen. To understand how, we should look historically at the closest that the world has gotten to World War III since the end of World War II. The world came closest to World War III during the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. When the Soviet Union attempted to ship nuclear-tipped missiles into Cuba, and the United States put a blockade around Cuba to prevent that from happening. Interesting. That is right. I don't know if that was the closest we got, though. I know that was the closest we got to a nuclear war, but I don't necessarily know if that would have translated to World War III. Let's continue on and see if that if he connects the dots here. The United States and the USSR stood eyeball to eyeball, and eventually the USSR backed down. But that was very, very close. Yeah, to a nuclear war. I'm not sure it would have actually started World War III. Because Russia wouldn't have really had any allies at the time. Not anyone to care, like, no one to care about, really. So, interesting. Okay. To understand why we came so close to the brink of nuclear war in 1962, okay, so now he clarified it. Now it's with nuclear war. So is he conflating the two? You actually have to reverse field for a few years. The reality is that the USSR started to challenge the United States so strenuously around the world because of roughly a decade of weakness in American foreign policy. That is true. That is true. After World War II, the United States was kind of the only one left standing and that's what really bolstered our economy for the longest time. But then our foreign policy did kind of take a crap, so yeah, interesting. This is how the World War breaks out. Miscalculation. They break out because one side believes that the other side is likely to cave in the face of its aggression. It's particularly true when the United States shows its neck to enemies. So it really understands what is happening in the lead up to the 1962 missile crisis. You have to return to 1956 when Dwight Eisenhower was president and there was a crisis that emerged in the Middle East. Interesting. This actually looks like going to be a really interesting history article. I'm not 100% sure that I agree with his assertion that 1962 was the closest we got to World War III. It was the closest we got to a nuclear war, but interesting. I'm going to read this one on my own. I'm not going to sit here and read it all with you guys. I could log in and we could go through it. And if you guys want me to do that stuff in the future, just put it in the comment like, hey, like when you get to these ones that you're unsure about, just go ahead and do it, or tell me, hey, no, you're doing it right, or if you guys don't like me doing these, let's do it, so. But interestingly enough, World War III could happen. I do agree that that our weak foreign policy, a weak American foreign policy, when we're not dealing with other countries, definitely puts us in a position where we could create tensions. I am a little bit more of an interventionalist, an anti-interventionalist. I'm sorry, let me clarify. Meaning that I would prefer that we have trade negotiations, but we don't necessarily have like return force trades. Sorry, my phone is going off here. Okay, let's move on to the last ones. And the Dems try to bankrupt Trump. Now, this one's interesting. So if you guys were following the stuff with, it's not Fannie Lewis. It's, I can't remember. Letitia James, I think, out of New York. Basically, she's been trying. Yeah, Letitia James. There it is right there. Donald Trump will either come up with bond in order to appeal, or Letitia James will seize his assets. Basically, Democrat judge in New York valued his Mar-a-Lago estate at like $18 million when everyone knows that it's way more than $18 million. And because of that, they said that he committed fraud in the state of New York with the banks going after bank loans. And even though the bankers were like, no, we want to continue doing business with him, they went ahead and just did a summary judgment and found him guilty. And then they basically gave him the, like $454 billion or $1 million fine. And they're just like, and now it's nuts. It's absolutely stupid. So let's scroll down and read this one just for a second. President Trump is on the hook for a $454 million judgment, according to the courts in New York. Judge Arthur Aragon presided over a stacked court in the civil fraud prosecution that was brought against Donald Trump, and it was done specifically in civil court as opposed to criminal court because the burden of proof is lower in civil court. This is the case in which Attorney General Letitia James came into office pledging to target Trump, which prosecutors should not do. One does not go into office vowing to target that guy. Rather, one vows to prosecute a crime, not find the criminal. The person who does the crime is by definition the criminal. Yeah, so that basically sums up everything I just said. And yeah, you guys can go and find this article and read up on it if you guys really want to find out about it, but I'm going to leave it there because all it does is show that the Dems are trying to bankrupt Trump. They're afraid of his candidacy, and they're trying to do everything they can to destroy the man. So go ahead and switch us back to main screen, bud. Perfect. So I'm going to leave it off again, doing a shout out to Candle Time, to Moo's business. She's got 4 cents ready to rock and roll. If you guys are interested, email candletime20222022. I'll put it in the description or whatever. Yeah, so you guys can find it. And if you guys are interested, email us and we'll get it sorted out with you. You got anything you want to cover, bud, before we take off? Nope. Okay, sounds good. All right, tune in Wednesdays, and we'll be talking about immigration and our immigration laws and how they're messed up and how they're screwing people over, especially good people that want to come into their country. And, check it out. Tune in Wednesday. Talk to you next time. Thank you for watching. Please give us a like, share, and subscribe. Till then, peace.